Well, welcome back. In today's video, we got something not super exciting we're working on, but still kind of cool. It's something I'm working on. I picked up this old Ranch King 5-horse 17-inch rototiller. Now, I got this out of somebody's garage on a dump pickup. They told me I could have this thing for 20 bucks. And they said all that's wrong with it is a spring on the carburetor. Apparently it's not working. So I've had this thing sitting out for about a year, and I'm just now getting to it. I did a video on, I got an old Massey Ferguson 253 rototiller up and running this last year. If you're a rototiller person like old ones, I'll put a link up at the end of this video if you want to check that out. So I'll show you what we got here, what this machine is, and the way you see it is exactly the way I brought it home. But yep, Ranch King 17-inch 5-horse tiller. Now this was made, I'm guessing, in the late 90s. Have to look at the tag on it for sure. You have to run those numbers. But just a regular 5-horse Briggs & Stratton on here. And I got a flat tire I'm going to have to fix on it. That's off the rim, go figure. But I've been wanting a rear tine tiller here for my garden. I've got that front wheel drive Massey Ferguson tiller, but yeah, you got to have a rear one too. So let's go ahead and see if all this thing really needs is a spring on the carburetor. I just love some of these treasures that you pick up on different expeditions. You go on, they say, well, this is all that's wrong with it. And then you get it and you actually start looking into things, and down the rabbit hole we go with all kinds of issues. Well, the air filter, it doesn't look bad in it. I'll go ahead and pull this air box off and see what our throttle linkages look like. I'm not sure if I end up having to go through and clean this carburetor and put a new pump diaphragm in it. And that'd be kind of cool if this thing would start up and run. I don't hold my breath anymore, y'all, because it seems like some of the stuff I've been getting lately, yeah, they turn out to be more work than what I was anticipating. All right. Well, I see the spring is there just fine. See if the throttle works. Yep, that works. Everything seems to appear okay. All right. He did say a spring on the motor, so not unless he's talking about maybe a spring down on the bottom here. And that looks to be all intact on it from what I can see. I'm sure this gasoline. Ooh. Well, I see the first thing we got to do is we got to get this gasoline out of here. Get my old turkey baster and suck this out of there. That is definitely old gas. Look at that. Almost looks like motor oil, doesn't it? Well, let's see if this guy's got some spark on it. If it doesn't have that, we're not going anywhere. Well, let's see what we got. Yep. Saw a spark. Yep, we got spark. Excellent. Well, we're halfway there. Let's take and put some fresh rec fuel in here. Should be enough to get it started if it's going to run. This is always the most interesting part. When you're going to start something up, you don't know what kind of problems they had. I'm going to check the oil in it first here, make sure it's not out of oil. That wouldn't be good to smoke a piston in it, would it? Well, it's got oil in it. It's not down. But once we get this thing started, we'll go ahead and we'll change the oil in it. So I'm planning on working this thing right away. I want to get my garden up and going. Well, we'll get some laughing gas to put in it and see if this thing will cough at all. I just want to double check, make sure all the throttle linkage is working on here. Again, that's your choke. That works like it's supposed to. I definitely don't want to start this thing up and have it go to the moon, you know. So yeah, well, let's see what happens here. This might be no big deal at all, who knows. Yeah. That's always a good sign when they start up like that. This person was kind of an elder gentleman. I don't know, maybe it's just one of those things he just set for a while. Maybe he thought something more was wrong with it than what it actually was, you know. It might take a minute for that pump to pick up fuel. That might be all that's wrong with it. You have to keep playing with the choke a little bit right now. I got the choke about halfway on. I'm gonna go crack that door open for a minute real quick here. Let it run. Get a little more gas. The motor doesn't sound bad in it. Let's see what happens when I take the choke off of it. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a sputter to it. Give it a little more choke, it kind of smooths out. And take it off. Got a little bit of lope to it, so yeah. Well, all in all, you know, for 20 bucks, I can't expect too much. You know, it runs pretty decent for that, don't you think? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pull this carburetor off here and go through and clean it out really good and replace that pump diaphragm gasket on there and try to get this gallop to go away on it so it runs smooth when it's when the choke is all the way open on it. See, what's going on is it's got a lean condition to it. So it's probably a good possibility that the main jet is plugged up inside the carburetor as well. Or, you know, it could be as well that pump diaphragm, the gasket is hard in it and it's just not pushing the fuel like it's supposed to. You know, it's not supple enough. So I'll go ahead and we'll pull this off and we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into with this carburetor, what we find. Now we'll go ahead and pull this carburetor off. I'm going to take my Sharpie marker and just mark this cable before I pull this off so I can put it back in the exact location it was in. Little tip for y'all if you do this. These carburetors on these rototillers here, they're really super simple to work on. In my opinion, anyway, they are. It's a good practice. Y'all get one of these metal bolt containers, you know, that you can put your bolts in to keep from losing your screws. I'll tell you, whoever came up with these magnetic trays, they were a genius. Just removing our choke assembly right now here. Here's a good practice for y'all to do too on some of these linkages. I always take a picture of them just so I can see the exact layout, how they were when I took them off. Because some applications out there will run them differently for different things that I've learned through the years. Tell you guys, I absolutely love these long Torx sockets here that you can get. They are a lifesaver in some of this small engine work. And as well, a magnet like this to grab your bolts with. See how I did that? I snaked that bolt out of there with my magnet so it wouldn't fall down in there, and I'd have to chase it down. Now our next thing we do, gotta get our governor rod out just like so and lay that to the side. And we got this guy right here we gotta unhook. Just like this is how I'll do that. Now let's kind of turn this like so. And leave that just like that, all by itself. And see, that's another reason too why you want to take a picture of your rods like this so you can see how it all laid in there. Yeah, I already told you that, didn't I? See, and this rod goes right here in your choke. So I'll take and I'll lay that in my magnetic tray. Alrighty. Now, the next thing I'm going to do here is we'll take and pull this carburetor off the tank. This is another handy tool here too. I got this snap-on ratchet driver. This is old. I got this back in 1994 actually, and it's even a Mike Skinner signature screwdriver. He was a NASCAR driver back in the day. Just like so. There we go. She's coming off. Nice and easy. Come on now. There we go. Now your fuel pickup tray, there's not any dirt or debris in there, so that's a good sign. And see how this carburetor works is it draws up fuel here through this pickup. Say this is why I like this carburetor. Very simple design. It draws it up through here, and it's got this catch tray down here that your fuel sits in, and it picks it up here through the jet and picks it up through the jet here into the engine. So very smart design, Briggs & Stratton. This is definitely one of their better designs that they had. And that's your jet right there. We'll go ahead and clean all this out. Well, we got this carburetor off here, so I'm going to go ahead and disassemble this. I'm I may have some parts for this. We can get this back together, but either way, gonna take and soak this carburetor in Ultra Seal overnight just to make sure it's good and clean, and we'll come back in another business day and put it back together and, well, see if that gallop is gone with it. See, on these carburetors too, sometimes you gotta pay attention. I'll pull that screen off. These pickup tubes here, I've seen these things crack before, and you gotta replace them, but this one appears to be in good shape. I'm not worried about it at all. So go ahead and I'll pull this off right here. Yeah, I got some updates for y'all on some different projects that we've been working on here in the channel. We'll talk about those at the end of this video here, where we're at on them. Those been following me on the 283 Chevy that we were gonna go through and rebuild. Well, I got some bad news on that engine, so, but we'll talk about that at the end of this video. No sense in being a Debbie Downer, you know, in the middle of this video, right? So this cover I'm taking off right here, this is just where your pump diaphragm goes inside here. Again, this is another simple design that works great on these engines. I can honestly tell you guys out there right now, and a lot of you older guys out there that have been doing this as long as I have will agree with me, the stuff that they made, you know, back, I would say probably prior to 2000, was built a lot better than the garbage they're building now. It's like these engines right here, they ran forever. You kept the oil changed in them. They were this a good running unit. See, that's your pump. See right there, that diaphragm is very hard right now. See, that should have a little bit of a give to it. It just feels mushy. I'll go ahead and peel that off here. I know I got these pump diaphragms, but the tank gasket itself, I'm pretty sure I don't have any of those right now. All it is just a basic spring that comes in here and actuates that. Geez, you can't, you know, and it runs off your vacuum of the engine. You can't get a more simpler design than that, y'all. A lot better than this trash they're coming out with today. You know, let's take a razor blade and scrape this this gasket off the base here, and, well, this will be ready to go into the hydro seal and get her soaking good and looking good overnight. All right, we got that disassembled there. As far as I'm going to go with it, I'll get this thing in the hydro seal and soak, and then I take it out. I'll get it all cleaned up and blow all the fuel passages out of it and get the kit, and we'll put this back together and see what we gain with it. Well, all right, we're back here on a different day now. I got my carb gasket. I had to order these and our pump diaphragm gasket. So I'm just going to quickly put this thing back together, then we'll stick it back on the rototiller here and see if this thing runs any better or not. Forgot to show you when I took this apart, you got a little idle jet right here. It's like a pilot jet. You want to make sure this is cleaned out because they can get plugged up too. But I'll quick put this back together here. Tell you, it's crazy how easy these pulse eject carburetors are. All we gotta do is just take and set our spring back inside here like so. Then we got our diaphragm gasket like this. That goes on here. This lays on there just like that. You got a little locator pin. There we go. Right there, it helps guide that. We got our backing plate that goes on. Goes on just like this. Whoops. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake you. Just like that. Put our screws on. Four screws total. Carburetor, as you can see, came out really good in the hydro seal. Tighten these bolts here for our pump. Just like that. You got this little screen that goes over your main jet here like so. This helps protect it from picking up garbage. You got this jet here. We're going to take and clean this out. Just run a torch tip cleaner through these holes right here on the side. Then you got one here in the center. Make sure that's cleaned out good. Just like so. There was something in it because I had to work at it a little bit to get that rod to slide through there. Saying, by the way, that screw goes right there, like so. Alrighty, now I'm going to go over and I got my new tank gasket here. Put this on the gas tank and get this installed back together, and we'll start this rototiller up and see what we gained with it. Alrighty, we got this all put back together, the carburetor all bolted up on here, so well, let's go ahead and start this thing up and see if it sounds any different now. I'm hoping it does. It should. Okay, let me try choking it. Here we go. Yeah, that sounds a lot better already, don't it? Nice and smooth now. Not bad, huh? Yeah, she sounds pretty doggone good, don't she? We'll take that. Well, I guess our next problem, what we got to do is, before we can take it out and use it, we got to do something with this flat tire. That's not going to cut it, is it? Well, let's go ahead and fix that. All right. So here's the deal. On this guy right here, this wheel is seized on this axle. And I'm not going to mess with that right now. So, as far as heating this up and getting it off, I'll come back to that at a later time. So we're just going to take and put a tube in this right now to get this tire up. And we'll call it a day on that. So what we're going to do is, this is proof right here. You don't got to take your tire off. You ever get in this kind of a crappy situation where your axle's seized on. I don't know about y'all out there, but doing small engine work, I absolutely hate doing tires. You know what I mean? Got that bead loose. There we go. There we go. It's like, yeah, when it comes to doing this stuff, there's no money in doing tires. Sometimes we got to do it to appease our customers. Put some baby powder on this, help it slip a little better. See if I can burn myself on this wheel where I tried heating it up a little bit, and it's definitely going to take a little more heat than what I want to put on that thing right now. So yeah. Okay, there's that. Okay, that one cooperated. Okay, tuck this tube in here. And see how this works. Just like that. So you're actually seeing a live tire change here right now. You see, this is not always the most fun job to do. We're getting there. There we go. It's like I need to turn that wheel to help me out a little bit here. And we're doing it. There we go. The tricky part is doing this and not pinching the tube. There we go. All right. Take the old needle nose on here and hold that valve stem so we can put air in it so it don't go shooting back inside that rim. And yeah, that's not cool when that happens. There we go. Okay, well, we got that tire fixed on it, so let's take this out and see how it rips up ground okay with it. And we're pretty much done with this, huh? Well, here goes nothing. Well, we ain't got no drive on it. There's no gears. The tines spin on it, but it's not moving. So, it's either got a broken chain in it or maybe a belt. It did move though for a minute. That's kind of weird. Well, I popped this cover off here, being it's not moving anywhere, and fortunately that wheel came off the shaft where the other one didn't, go figure, but that's good. But this belt right here is not good and that's definitely not helping things, because look when I squeeze the drive on that. You know, if I can do this, look out, that belt is not tight at all where the drive is engaged. So, and that runs in there where your drive chain is. So I'm going to go look and see if I've got a belt for this or not. And if not, well, she's going to sit broken down here in my little garden out here, and I'm going to have to order a belt for this thing. Go figure. Well, I just got my new belt today, installed this on this, so we'll put this back together and see if we got a drive on this thing now, hopefully. Well, as you can see right here on this, I got my belt on, and it spins like it's supposed to, but put it forward, we've got no drive on this, so something's going on in the gearbox out of that kind of stuff. See, it spins the times okay on here, but we ain't got no gear. Well, that's real unfortunate. On this, will it run again in a way? As you saw in the video out there, we put this in gear. Those wheels started spinning for a little bit, and then I heard a clunk inside there, and that was all she wrote with this. So there's something going on with the transmission in it. Either a chain popped off on it, or there's a pin inside your input shaft right here that fell out. See, that's the thing. I'm in forward gear right now. When I spin this, those front wheels should be driving right now, and it's not. And look how easy that thing spins. Unfortunately, these kind of suck, you know, tearing the transmission, because you got to split them apart and take the engine off of it. Either this is something I'll come back in another video and we'll do this, or maybe I'll just find another tiller that has a good transmission in it, because boy, this sure does got a sweet running engine on it. I can take this engine and put on there if it has a blown engine in it. So no worries, right? And I can just take and part the rest of this thing out. But you know, hey, I only have 20 bucks in it. So, I mean, if I part this thing out, I'll make my money back plus some. So, you win on some, you lose on some. Now, I talked about earlier in the video, if you know you haven't been following the channel and haven't seen some of the stuff we've been working on, I'll give you some updates on different things we're going. The 1944 Dynan tractor, we're coming along on that. We got the new tires and stuff put on. I did a couple shorts on the channel a little while back. It's just one of those things, I got to get some more sheet metal and stuff for it. And I had someone reach out for me in the last video, say, hey, they had a hood for me. Hey, thank you, appreciate you very much. But I ended up getting a hood for it. It's a brand new hood, but I appreciate you reaching out. And as well, I need to talk about the 283 Chevy that we were going to build a nice motor on this a while back. Heard back from the people I was doing the work for, the customer. Unfortunately, that motor is not going to be a go. They're going to do something that I don't like with these older cars. They're going to put an LS engine in it. Most people who know me know I do not like LS motors. Well, they're not bad. It's just I prefer the Generation 1 small block Chevy. That's what I grew up with. Those are the kind of engines I built when I built circle track engines. And I understand why people are going LS on a lot of on these older cars now. You know, the Gen 1 small blocks are not as plentiful as they used to be. And by the time you go through and build one, you know, you can get an LS motor cheaper. So I understand that. And as well, the LS1 is easier for someone that does not have the experience with the Gen 1 small blocks, you know, tuning them. So I always refer to the LS motors as the gamer engine. Some people won't like that, but what I simply mean by the gamer engine is you can plug your laptops into these LS motors, and you can set the programs on what chips and run with them and what injectors. See, back in my day when we built the Gen 1 small blocks, you really had to know what parts worked with what engines. You can get on different calculators online to figure out compression ratios with LS engines, your power bands, and what cams to use with them, what injectors to use with them. See, back in our day when we built the Gen 1s, we actually had to do all this out on paper, with different formulas to figure out compression ratios, to figure out the weight of the car, and figure out, okay, if the car is this way, if this motor has this RPM and this tire, this is what it's going to run in the quarter mile. We had to do a lot of legwork back then, so a lot of people just don't have that knowledge today on how we did that stuff. So I totally get it. So the LS motor is going in that vet, and well, that 283, we sent that back to the shop, and well, who knows what will become with that. I mean, that was a really nice piece of nostalgic history. The way they set that motor up, being the 301, they bored that 283 out 4 inches. So I wish we could have did that motor. It's been a while since I built a 283, probably about 20 years, I would say exactly. The 1962 Simplicity garden tractor, the rear engine rider we're restoring, we still got to get that primer and get the paint on it. It's just that right now we're in May up here in Michigan, and the weather has just been so lousy up here. It's either been cold, rainy, or windy, and I just need to get one nice day that I can get outside and get that filler primer sprayed on it and get it all sanded up, and then we can finally get that color on it. So that's where we're at on the projects right now. So I want to thank you all for stopping by, tuning in, and checking us out. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I absolutely try to do my best to answer as many comments as I possibly can. And we'll see you all in our next video. Take care, everyone.